Welcome, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with you guys again on the Saskia Mala Show. This is another exciting episode, and this is exciting because I did trauma recovery, and what happened blows my mind. Blows my freaking mind. What happened the moment I started to do trauma recovery? What do I mean with trauma recovery? So let's dive straight into it. With trauma recovery, I mean somatically healing from our trauma. We do have different kinds of trauma, yes. So one of the traumas that we have is like childhood trauma, for example. Then we have trauma from our current life, from different life experiences, from unexpected life experiences. Trauma is anything that is an experience that has not been fully processed and found closure inside your system, inside your body. I have another episode on post-traumatic stress disease where I go really deep what trauma is, and I have another episode really going deep on like the moon and menstruation, and there also deeply explain the impact of trauma in our body, especially in our pelvic floor. Now back to the story. My dog, she's here, she's so cute. Back to the story. So what do I mean with trauma healing? With trauma healing, I mean somatically recovering from trauma, somatically recovering from an unprocessed experience that is stuck in your body and in your tissue. Yeah, that is trauma recovery. Talking therapy, amazing. Analysis by Freud, amazing. But unless we feel it in the body, we don't heal it. Simple as that. Unless we feel it, we don't heal it. Simple as that. So, in order to heal, you need to feel it inside your body. And I say that so many times because this is the point where we drop out and avoid the healing. And a little mindset shift here for you guys to help you heal it and feel it, no matter how hard it is to, instead of, why is this happening to me? And then we feel it and we fall into this misery because it's happening to me. We flip the script, we flip the narrative to, this is happening for me. By feeling this, I am learning something, and being able to feel this, having been sent this experience as a portal into whatever feeling there is for me to feel, that is a gift, because we are the ones as humans who put a label onto it. We as humans are the ones who like, this is a bad feeling or this is a good feeling. I don't like to feel that way. It is us as humans, per nature. Sadness or anger or happiness, all are simply feelings, and they're equally valid and equally have, oh my dog, she's so cute, have a message for you, and especially have a lesson and a superpower for you. And once we understand that, then it's like, oh, actually, my traumas are happening for me, not to me. And then notice might sound super out of place and displaced, maybe not even having empathy, but believe me, I really know what I'm talking about. And this was the way into healing. I had insane traumas that I totally do not want to repeat and share. And by allowing myself to feel them and finally going into accepting that they happened, because as long as it's like, this happened to me, oh no, why is this happening to me, we're like negotiating with reality if this really happened or not. We're not fully accepting that it happens. And by fully accepting that it happens, that was my way into actually healing them. Now, what we're here today about, and there is also in the moon and menstruation episode with me, you can check out, there is a way also on like how to access trauma healing, the same in the PTSD episode. Check it out on my YouTube channel, Saskia Mala. Okay, so now what was really mind-blowing for me around my trauma recovery? And that was the insane changes I experienced in my body and mind by healing my traumas that I totally did not expect. Like I started healing trauma. My dog, she's so cute. Come here, Lily. Oh, chunky. She's not a lap dog, but she is a lap dog. Okay, so by healing my traumas, like I thought healing my trauma will just allow me to have better relationships and not being always trapped in the same cycle in my life, because I kept attracting I kept attracting the same things in my life over and over again. And I found myself like, this starts not only to suck, but to get freaking boring. Like, I need to get out of there. I need to stop attracting the same people into my life, the same professional circumstances. I don't want to keep repeating my life and my parents' life and my grandparents' life. Like, I'm freaking done with it. I want to live my life. So I kept self-sabotaging myself into situations that I do not enjoy. And so that's what I thought I will get out from healing my trauma, will be to stop re-experiencing the same things. And as well, I had like intense anger management issues. Like, I was a bursting fireball, and healing trauma definitely helped me to heal my anger management to a much greater extent. So like, it's not fully gone. Like, that's the thing. Anger management you will always need, because you will always have anger in your life as long as you have this human existence. But healing your trauma and working with them definitely helps you to handle your emotions in a mature, healthy way. But now, finally, that's what it's about today, the mind-blowing things that happened once I started my trauma recovery. And so the first thing that I totally did not expect to happen, okay, was, let's start just physically. Physically, I didn't expect anything to happen. I thought just mentally and in my life, my belief systems, etc., something's gonna happen, and that's freaking it. But suddenly, I had physical changes. I'm like, what is happening here? Suddenly, I didn't have hair loss. Previously, I kept having hair loss, and suddenly it was gone. Like, healing my trauma, and my hair got much stronger, much more shiny, much more rich, etc. And it didn't have hair loss no more. I'm like, what the heck is going on? The next thing that I experienced, it was insane. I had insane acne before. I had adult acne, and I had no idea that this was hormonal, aka actually inflammatory trauma-based acne. So how it turns out was that the acne, to that time, I didn't know that not having your period at all, together with super crazy being bloated, super being stressed and burned out, was connected to my acne. But eventually it turned out that these things absolutely connect to each other. Like, I managed to heal my trauma. There was different things I did to have like intense peak experiences with trauma healing, but then mostly plateau, longer extended experiences for the trauma healing. And suddenly there was this moment I felt like there was a lot of work to do. It's not like an experience like this. It's like one layer after the other you have to unfold, and it's like a deeper journey that we go on. And I still have some traumas left, but I mean, like, the majority chunk of my traumas, I'm now in sovereign being, in control of my own life, yeah, and holding my own authority in my life. So once this happened, suddenly my skin was freaking clear. I'm like, oh my gosh, what was this? And I have had the trauma of to be seen. I was freaking scared to be seen. And so, because if I would have been seen, then I can also be abandoned because I will be recognized. And so there was a self-protection mechanism. So my skin got incredibly good. I'm like, what the fuck? So healing your traumas actually cleans up the skin. Yes, it freaking does. The next crazy thing, so I had my hair and my skin. The next crazy thing that happened after healing my trauma, I was like, what the heck is happening? Is that suddenly my puffiness was gone. I used to be super freaking puffy. I used to be almost 10 kilos heavier. And all of that, it was not a lot of fat, seriously. Like, I had a very intense trauma healing period. It was after my miscarriage, and I had this deep grief process. My relationship fell apart and everything. And I was like, okay, now the portal for grief is open. Let's heal it all. And there was so much I healed about my relationship with my father, with my grandfather. There were so many things coming up that I healed in that moment and really embraced it. And I shed so much water weight, so much puffiness, and that all came from trauma. Like, I held excessive weight to keep storing the trauma, because whatever happens on a mental level is represented in a physical level. So the shocking thing that happened was I lost literally weight from healing trauma. Like, insane. I started to be lean from healing trauma. Like, freaking insane. The next thing what happened suddenly, my periods came back. I didn't have my periods for ages. So actually now I help women also get their periods back and have like excellent fertility. But before I went onto that journey, the trauma nervous system was a big part of my life. And I'm in the field of yoga and yoga therapy since many years, almost 10 now. And Suddenly, my period came back and my periods were on clock, like insanely on clock every freaking full moon, on the minute. It's not ideal to be on full moon. New moon is a little bit more favorable, but I'm not complaining here. Every single month on the freaking minute since I healed my trauma. It just happened like this. My periods came back. My periods were pain free. I had zero bloating before. My mood swings were gone. And I have an excellent peak ovulation that I can measure and prove with my temperature. That's also something I got from healing my periods. So that means holding trauma in your system can make you infertile. Okay. The next thing that happened that was insane was like, I just started to sleep better. Suddenly, I was sleeping amazing simply from healing the trauma. So I healed the trauma. I went on a journey, and with every single day, slowly, step by step, and that's the thing. Trauma healing, as I said, is like I recommend an intense period to work on it, 3 to 6 months. Definitely take a deep dive into it, but doesn't mean you spend all your day on it. In that deep dive, it means you maybe spend some days an hour on it, but other, like on a weekend when you have the time, other days just 5 to 10 minutes, but you hold your focus a little bit on it. And then after that, once you got the toolkit and once you got the liberation in your system, once you had like a break open point, from there, trauma healing becomes more subtle in your daily day-to-day life, integrated. And that was the interesting thing. So besides getting amazing great hair from healing my trauma, getting amazing clean skin, no bloating, lost all the weight, got my periods and my ovulation back. From that, also then my sleep just got better. Every single day I unpacked another layer. Every single day I worked a little bit on that. My sleep went better. Like insane. Everything from trauma recovery, actually. And then the next thing that was really interesting was on a psychological level, what happened, and my body aligned more. That's also interesting. And my body got less stiff. So my body feels much more loose and soft when I'm on top of my somatic release exercises. Because that's the thing, you keep experiencing trauma. If you keep just living busy life and not taking care of of regular decompression and regular grounding and regular regulation into parasympathetic nervous system state, that is when we keep building up trauma again. So trauma is really, you go out into life, you have an experience, you come back and you're still stressed and you swallow it down. That's in trauma then, okay? So when you keep doing that, also what happens is like it's incredible by staying in that practice of deep nervous system regulation, your body stays soft. As if you do a shit ton of yoga, excuse my language. As if you do a lot of yoga, your body stays soft. You're not getting tight, because tightness in the body isn't tightness in the mind, isn't tightness in the flow of experience. And that's what trauma is. It's in tightness in the flow of experience. Yeah. All right. And then what's really mind blowing for me, what happened when I healed my trauma, was on a psychological level. Like, seriously? That can happen? Like, what the fuck? So, what happened was my interests changed. I suddenly was interested in different kind of sports, and I was suddenly interested in different kinds of activities and music and food as pre-trauma. Like it completely changed in such a pleasant way. Like hectic, stressful, negative things were suddenly not attractive for me no more at all. I just lost interest in doing toxic things. It just happened. Instead of like binge watching Netflix, was like, yeah, I would like to read. Yeah, I would like to have a nice evening with my friends. Yeah, I would like to take a full moon swim. Yeah, I would like to go to a hike. And that's it. Things just changed. And it was suddenly this energy and ideas and excitement for things that felt like heavy and healthy and previously, or like I was always too busy. Suddenly there was time, suddenly there was interest, suddenly there were different priorities. So my priorities, my excitement, my principles changed naturally. I did not actively have to work on them. All I did was working on my nervous system and deep somatic trauma recovery and regulation. And these things happened naturally, like mind blowing. And another thing that changed, definitely, as I said, toxic habits. And then I had insane mental clarity. Trauma recovery, the mental clarity you get is insane. Like usually when we don't do trauma recovery, what is we have this huge fog and distance and wall between us, right? It's like you're here and the world is there and there's all this stuff in between and you can't really be there because you have to go through all these things and you lose your way and focus and everything on the way. That is dissociation. And that is caused by trauma and nervous system dysregulation. And so healing trauma really removed that. The fog is just gone. It's like you're a meditation master. The fog is just freaking gone, and the mental clarity is insane. And the next thing, what's really interesting is like my goals and desires actually changed. Like, and since I healed my trauma, I do desire and want different things much more clearly, and I get them much, much faster. So my desires change from being like, and goals from being like very simple to becoming very honest. Previously, I had just taken on goals and desires that kind of like are expected from me as a human being. Whereas since I recovered from trauma through somatic healing, what happened was that I actually admitted what I really want from my life. And there was this faith and hope suddenly arising in the system of like, yeah, we can actually do that. And this mental clarity all playing together, the fear of being seen being a way of like, wow, that's actually possible. And then the crazy thing that happens from healing the trauma is not only these goals and desires that change, but actually going into like, whoa, I'm doing it and actually making an action plan and executing it on a single day. And I feel like that's the biggest thing that actually changed for me was not the body, which was insane changes. I cannot describe how life changing these changes were. I was fighting with my weight since I can remember. Since I'm a teenager and I'm weight conscious, I've been fighting and battling with my weight. And since I healed my trauma and do continuously regular trauma or nervous system regulation, I do have a little routine of like 6, 7, 8 minutes every evening before sleep. It's the last thing I do in a day. And since that, my weight is just stable and amazing and it feels right. It exactly feels the way it's supposed to be. So yeah, insane. But I feel like really the biggest change to summarize that I got out from trauma recovery, which blows my mind, is I suddenly have the energy, clarity, drive, and skills to go for my dreams. I'm actually living my life. I'm not only dreaming about it. And it comes with such a natural vibe. It comes with such a natural, yeah, that's what we're doing. We go up, we get up, and we go for what we want. And it's the most natural thing. It doesn't feel superhuman. It just feels so deeply me and self and sovereign and in control and in a driver's seat. And I feel like it's so beautifully on a materialistic way, but also on a spiritual way, so deeply connected. And the most beautiful thing when this happened is I started to become really good with manifestation of like, I want that, I'm going for it, and everything I need from life is also coming in. And yeah, it's a really beautiful blend of action and giving and receiving. And I'm convinced this comes from trauma therapy. I'm convinced this comes from somatic trauma recovery and healing. I also do know the more relaxed I am, the easier I manifest, and definitely keeps happening in my life. And many experiences for me prove it. Yeah. And so, but yeah, this is the biggest thing really of like having this. Of course, I'm going for my life. Of course, I'm doing what I have to do, going for that. And it's fun and it's ease and it's joyful and it actually happens. And things are actually moving. We're actually moving mountains step by step. So if you ever want to achieve any of these things, be it lose the weight, clear your skin, better hair, better complexion, be it flat tummy, be it healthy habits, dropping addictions. That's all the thing. I got so much better with addictions. I used to be a very addictive personality. No, I'm not no more. If you want to finally live your life on your terms, if you have low energy or high energy, doesn't matter. You move the needle into your direction, and actual life is responding to you in a way you need to make your things come true. You definitely need to do somatic trauma healing. Like 100%, this is what you need in your life. That being said, I hope you really enjoyed that episode. It was a great pleasure for me to be recording that for you guys. My name is Saskia Mahler. I help women heal their hormones and nervous system with Ayurveda and yoga therapy, and I'm super excited to be working with you guys. If you're interested in learning to heal your nervous system on such a deep level, because this is the core foundation, like supplements won't solve any problem unless we actually address the root cause, which is your nervous system. So if you want to learn to do that for the rest of your life for yourself and to pass it on onto your beloved ones, onto the next generation, spread it by being the best version of yourself, I highly recommend you start from the inside out. We have different ways that we can work together with you guys. In the description below, you will find some amazing free material with me, like a free yoga nidra that is really amazing practice to regulate your nervous system. You can find a free cycle track as well, where I take you into the basics of your menstrual cycle. And as well, I have amazing programs that you can work with me. I have one of the programs, Bleed Blissfully. That's my signature course where you can work with me and a group of women together for a 6-month period. We do group coaching, and there's an amazing library teaching you everything you need to know for successful womanhood. It's like the Bible of the womb, and the Bible of integrated living, because my principle is spiritual, yes, but if it's not practical, it's not spiritual. It needs to be both the sky and the feet on the ground. And then as well, I'm having some spots open in my one-on-one practice. I can't wait working with you together. Down is in the link below. You can book your discovery call or jump onto the waitlist, and I send you an email through. I hope you really enjoyed this, and I wish you a really beautiful day. Sending you all the love.